right, let's hit the field.
It is Monday, April 28th, and the Yankees were in Baltimore to kick off a 3-game set against the last-place Baltimore Orioles. Yankees trying to create some more distance between the two, but Will Warren had a tough night. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Well, sometimes you're the dog, sometimes you are the hydrant. Tough night for the Yankees. They drop a close one, 4-3. They fell behind 4-0 early. Late rally, a run in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, but they just didn't get the big hit tonight. Got to commend Batista there in the 9th inning. You know, he was out last year, and he completely dominated that inning. 98 by Bellinger to end the game. Look, if discussing this game brings you to a dark place, there was something going around the internet today that captured my attention. So feel free to comment on this instead. 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Hand-to-hand combat, no weapons. Who wins? So let me know in the chat. Personally, I think 100 guys could take out a gorilla. I think they would get to him. Anyway, tough night for the Yanks. We joked on the pregame podcast that Sugano, who had 9 strikeouts coming into this game in 28 innings, was going to throw 8 shutout innings and strike out 15. Well, we weren't far off. He had 5 shutout innings. He had 8 strikeouts, so 1 less than he had all season coming in. Yankees had no answer for his split-fingered fastball. It was absolutely dirty tonight. And, you know, he was getting ahead with the backdoor breaking ball. That seemed to be the game plan. Throw the curveball in the outside corner and then try and get another strike, whether it was nibbling and picking up a strike or throwing some kind of a cutter, sinker, getting a foul ball, and then go to the splitter. And that was the plan tonight, and the Yankees just had no chance. But it is what it is.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
Yankees had a missed opportunity right away. Bases loaded in the first inning. And birthday boy Anthony Volpe bounced out to end the inning and kill the threat. He did have an RBI double tonight, but, you got to come through in a big spot like that early in the game. Chance to take command of the baseball game, and they didn't get it done. Warren worked out of a big jam in the first inning. So I'll talk more about him in the pitcher spotlight, but, you know, he gave up a base hit and then a double, and then pitched out of second and third, nobody out. And you thought, oh man, he's going to have a good night, but did not work out that way. Phenomenal defensive play from Jazz Chisholm in the second inning. Hard one-hopper. He went full extension to dive and reel it in throughout the runner. Absolutely no chance Gleyber Torres makes that play, but Gleyber's sure out hitting Chisholm right now. Chisholm went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, now hitting 173 on the season. The OPS now under 700 after that hot start, down to 692. After Jackson Holiday singled, Laureano burned Trent Grisham in center field. That's something you don't see very often. You know, I suspect he either lost it in the crowd or it was knuckling, because Grisham doesn't take bad routes. It just doesn't happen. And tonight he just didn't get a good read on it. Ball burned him, and it went for a double. But that just goes to show you that even the best defenders mess up from time to time. Third inning, back-to-back walks, and then a 3-run home run by Ryan O'Hearn, and that was the ball game. That made it 4-0. And again, with Warren, the home run isn't going to bother me. He's a rookie. Sometimes you're going to give up home runs. Everybody gives up home runs. It's the 2 walks before the home run, right? I don't want to hear about one bad pitch. I don't want to hear about that. It was a series of bad pitches that culminated in a home run. So, in the 4th inning, Warren picked off Laureano from second base. He took off for third base. Volpe gunned it to third, but Peraza couldn't hang on. And that's a play that just has to be made. Peraza doesn't get a lot of playing time. I'm not going to hold it that much against him. He went 0 for 2 tonight also, hitting 192. But if you're in there for your defense, you got to make all the plays. All of them. But again, even the best have problems. So tonight just was not the Yankees' night. 5th inning, Mullins took away a home run from Paul Goldschmidt. right at the wall. I mean, maybe another foot, and it's a home run. But Mullins made a nice catch. I mean, to his credit, we got a call from Brian about that, which I'll play at the end of the show during the audience portion, about the short walls in Major League Baseball. I know Yankees fans aren't going to dig this, but that was a fun play. Yankees rallied in the 8th, base hit from Goldie Knox. Excellent piece of hitting from Anthony Volpe to pick up the RBI double, and then Wells smoked one into the gap. But Dominguez struck out on a questionable check swing. Man, he is not good from the right side of the plate. It is not getting much better either. And then perfect 1-2-3 8th inning for Devin Williams, so we have that going for us. But unfortunately, the Yankees come up short. Yankees legend says, are you DFAing Peraza or Reyes when DJ gets back? Probably Reyes. I mean, he's not playing very much. And even when he's in there, he's not doing much. Sam G says that Jazz is killing every rally. He's having a tough time right now. He needs to get it going. Alex says that Peraza still has trade value, but I have to disagree a little bit. It is dwindling by the day. Every game that goes by in the major leagues that he doesn't perform hurts his value. Jay Snow says Bellinger needs to wake up. You're 100% correct. Bellinger did have a base hit tonight, but hitting just 194 with a 574 OPS, continuing to struggle at the plate. And I got to say, he's been the most disappointing part of the season for me. Other than losing Garrett Cole. I mean, I don't know if you can count that, though. But since the season has begun, in terms of performances, there's some things that are bright spots. Obviously, Grisham's been amazing. Goldie has exceeded my expectations in terms of hitting for average. He's hitting 361 after his 1-for-4 tonight. Wish he'd hit for a little bit more power, but I'm not going to complain about an 875 OPS. Dominguez has had some good stuff from the left side, but he's struggled from the right side. His defense has been, solid, I think. But the things that have been disappointing are Bellinger, who was hot as a pistol in spring training. And then it just went ice cold right after the season started. He had that big 451-foot home run in the second game of the season, and since then he's done practically nothing. And Jazz Chisholm has been rather disappointing to me. Again, after that initial burst of power in the opening weekend, he has been bad, and he's striking out way too much, and he doesn't look good. Now, he did make a nice defensive play tonight.
Stellar defense.
But in terms of his offense, he is killing this team, and he's killing rallies. We got a super chat here from the 610 Stig. Says, getting sick of watching Jazz at bats. He has zero approach to put anything in play. It's hard to watch, and Dominguez needs to quit switch hitting. Appreciate the chat. Dominguez looks bad from the right side. We can't ignore it. I don't think he's going to quit switch hitting during the middle of the year, but I'll give him the year to figure it out. If he doesn't make solid improvement, you give him something to work on in the winter, and you check in midwinter, see how he's doing, and if he isn't making improvement, then maybe it's time to can it. You got to think he would hit better as a lefty versus lefties than he hits as a righty versus lefties. Talk about Warren. Tough beginning of the game, like I mentioned. The hard line drive single, then the double. But you know what? He buckled down. He got the soft pop out to left field, and then a strikeout on a 95-mile-an-hour heater that, it had some real pop to it. And then he made Ryan Mountcastle look horrendous and ridiculous with probably the best sweeper that he's thrown in his career. It was a really nice tight rope walk. I messed that one up. It was a really nice tight rope walk, but then in the second, the wheels came off. Single and a double, and then third inning, 2 walks and a home run. He only threw 72 pitches, 47 strikes. And again, 3 in the third inning, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. His ERA is up to 5.63. And you really have to start wondering if this guy is ready for the major leagues.
Stinks.
We'll have another call later that I agree with, and it's about his consistency, or more specifically, his lack of consistency. As a major league pitcher, you got to be more or less consistent. And, he's just too up and down. Now, we don't have a lot of pitching prospects to look at right now. I think Cam Schlittler is probably the guy closest to taking over. But we'll take a look at the minor leaguers we've got. I mean, Schlittler has a 1.23 ERA in Double-A, 24 strikeouts in 22 innings, 0.82 WHIP. Now, Ben Hess and Bryce Cunningham, these guys are seen as roughly equal as pitching prospects. I was watching this Baseball America segment on them the other day, and they were talking about how, like, one guy had Cunningham ahead of Hess, the other, had Hess ahead of Cunningham. Hess was ultimately drafted ahead of Cunningham. But Cunningham so far is out-pitching Hess. He's got 24 innings, 30 strikeouts, 2.63 ERA, and a 0.96 WHIP. Hess, 13 in the third innings, 22 strikeouts, so way more than the strikeout per inning, but he got roughed up in his last outing, and that's been kind of indicative of what happened in his minor league career. He would put together a couple of really good starts, in his college career, put together a couple of really good starts, and then get roughed up. So, again, he's somebody that needs to find consistency. Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. Now, this is a guy we got to take a look at. Now, he's down there in high A, but he has amazing stuff. I don't do a lot of social media, but I'm on Instagram, and I spend a little bit of time on Instagram each day just watching baseball highlights. There's an account called Yankees Farm, and they post highlights of all the farm guys, and I was just watching a clip of Elmer Rodriguez Cruz about a half an hour ago. Dude has the stuff. I mean, he is legit. So hopefully he's on the fast track, and he's pitching well. Erik Reiselman in AAA in relief, 8 games, 3.38 ERA, 10 and 2/3 innings, 13 strikeouts. He's somebody to keep an eye on as well. Let's take a look at the hitters. So George Lombard Jr. in high A, getting it done. 306 average, 1 home run, 9 stolen bases so far, 946 OPS. So he is adjusting quite well. A lot of times you see young guys struggle in high A, in Double A, especially guys that are teenagers. I mean, what did Dominguez do at that level right away? He struggled. Even Volpe, he struggled right away in those levels. George Lombard is excelling, so that tells you how advanced he is. Spencer Jones, you got to be worried about him hitting 230 in Double A. Now, I know he's got 7 home runs, but he's got 31 strikeouts. He's got a 41% strikeout rate in Double A. That is not good. That is just not good. And at some point, you have to start wondering, is this guy a bust, a first-round bust? Not everybody makes it, and I know we were excited, but from the moment he was drafted, people were saying, left-handed Aaron Judge, because he's so big and so strong, and it's just never going to be that. Judge, by this point, was on the fast track to becoming a major leaguer. Now, he was still striking out a lot, but Jones, what is Jones, 24 years old now? Let me just double-check, because I think Judge made his debut at 24. Let me just double check. So yeah, on May 14th, Spencer Jones will turn 24 years old, and Aaron Judge made his debut at 24. So, he's behind. Yorbit Vivas is somebody that I feel bad for because he tears up the minor leagues. He's hitting 322, 430 on base percentage, 878 OPS, and some speed, 5 stolen bases. But every time he gets called up, the Yankees don't play him. I mean, how are you going to find out if the guy can hit in the major leagues if you don't give him any opportunities? And he's on the 40-man roster. And right now, you've got a competition at third base. Peraza's not getting it done. Really, Waldo's getting it done offensively a little bit. OPS is still under 700, but he's been throwing balls away. I mean, what's the harm in giving Vivas a week? Is Reyes that important to the roster that you can't give Vivas a week at third base to see what he can do? I don't know. I think it's worth looking at. And Everson Pereira in a little bit of a slump, hitting 254, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs. James Evans says he's sick of watching Warren just penciling a loss on those days. All right. Well, okay, so I'm going to take a quick pause here and go to a full screen. I've got to queue up an ad. Yesterday we had an issue with the ads, and so I just want to make sure that the right one is up. So as we look at, what the Yankees have to do here, they got to win 2 out of 3 here from a team that is currently in last place, and they've got to go ahead and looks like we're good. Hang on, sorry. they've got to go ahead and bounce back after, a tough night. Now, hopefully this little late rally that didn't work out, hopefully that gets them headed in the right direction. Okay, so we got the ad queued up. I just wanted to make sure that it was working in real time because yesterday we had some issues. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the sponsorship ad here. This is a word from Arena Club, and then I'll be back with some voicemails and some comments.
Todd, Father, I love the way that modern technology has changed the way that we buy, sell, trade cards, even rip packs. They're called slab packs, and they're on Arena Club. No more shuffling through everything. The common cards are all over the place. Stuff's getting folded out and all messed up. Arena Club keeps it nice and tight in your digital showroom. And then when you want that card and you want to show it off, what do? You just let Arena Club know.
Let them know and grab it and take it with you. Show it off online. I think this is huge just because the fact that you talked about cutting the corners. You want to get a card that doesn't break or doesn't have a problem with it, go right to Arena Club. They have everything you need. Easy money right there for really, really good, exceptional cards.
After your pulls are revealed, they'll immediately be placed in your vault for safekeeping or trading and selling. Right now, 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and use code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/foul, code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase.
All right, thank you to those who stuck around. James G says Jazz's at-bats are painful to watch. I got to go ahead and agree with you. It's been a rough time. He's having a rough go of it. Leo says, what's going on with Bellinger? He is not hitting. I mean, you just answered your own question. He's not hitting. That's what's going on with him. Now, why is he not hitting? I don't know. I mean, he's hit in his career. He can hit. He's just, I think, in a slump. I think he got red hot in March, and it hasn't carried over. He left it in spring training. All right, so we got some calls here.
What's up, Derek? It's Brian. Just wanted to get your opinion on this. I didn't think it was too controversial, honestly, but why did baseball do away with like the 6.5 foot to 7 foot walls? Who doesn't like seeing robbed home runs? I know nobody on our team, the Yankees here, liked seeing Goldschmidt get robbed of a home run, but that's one of the most exciting plays in baseball. What's with all these 12-foot-plus walls now, where they just took that play completely out of the game? I feel like that's a super easy fix to get one of the most exciting plays back into the game. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. All right, man.
Yeah, I always like the shorter fences, but I feel like Yankee Stadium has it about right. Because I don't want it to be too easy to rob home runs. If you can just stand there and reach over the fence like you can at some of these parks, I feel like that's too low. Like out there in L.A., it's really short. Actually, I think both stadiums are pretty short. Right down the lines, the fence is really short. Fenway, it's really short. To me, that's just not as fun to see somebody reach over. I want to see someone have to scale the wall. Like, remember the home run that Griffey took away at Yankee Stadium? Oh, what an amazing catch by the kid. I'm sure you've seen the commercial or the highlight or whatever. Like, that is the type of home run, Rob, I like to see. The one that Mike Trout made in Baltimore. And Baltimore's, probably a good height because you can get up and kind of propel yourself over the wall and make the play. So, I like how Baltimore does that. I wish more ballparks had like space between the wall and the seats, because the thing I hate is fan interference. I don't like to see a guy's glove get messed with by fans as they're reaching over. So maybe add like a foot of distance between the wall and the seats, maybe a little bit more, a couple of feet. And yes, most walls should be at least partially scalable.
This is Willie.
Hey, Willie.
Warren is not a good pitcher, period. He's too inconsistent. One decent game, one serious messed up game. They was ready to pull him out in the second inning.
Yeah, that's such an important part of being a starting pitcher in the major leagues. We've got to be able to count on you. Every game is worth millions of dollars at this point, and home field advantage and playoff spots. They come down to small margins. You got to be able to count on your starting pitching, right? And tonight we just couldn't do that. And because of that, we had to spend Yarbrough who, ate up a bunch of innings. He pitched pretty well, but, what if he didn't? And we would have burned through the bullpen in the first game of the series. I do want to give a shout out to Devin Williams. I'm not ready to break out the champagne after tonight, but he did pitch better than, he had recently, but the game wasn't on the line.
Yo, Derek, this is Matt from Denver, Colorado. Wanted to hear what you think about what seemed to be a much more decisive and quick to pull the plug on Devin Williams, Aaron Boone. I've been heavily critical of him, particularly over the last couple of years. I know you have at times as well, and I was pretty surprised, and pleasantly so, that he's pulled the plug on Williams as closer, at least for now. And even in that original press conference, it seems to me that whereas he would normally be giving excuses and talking about bad luck or talking about it being early or whatever, he seemed like he just didn't want to show how frustrated he was. And it seemed like we were going to get the hook. And
yeah, we got the hook. He went quickly this year. I think it was pretty evident from Williams, not only the data on, hitters pummeling his fastball, hitting his changeup, but just from the body language. You look at him and you see a guy who is just uncomfortable out there. So, hey, that's life in the big leagues. You got to get it done, especially with the Yankees. This is not Milwaukee. So, tough night for the Yankees. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll probably do a pregame show or a voicemail show of some kind tomorrow. And then we will wrap it up. And hopefully Game 2 goes much better for the Yankees. Check out NYYdesigns.shop. We got lots of cool stuff for you. And we will catch you next time.